Hey there, fam. This is Tanya Barnett with Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett show. I'm so super excited about my guest tonight. Yes. We are talking about mental health, mental wellness. May is Mental Health Month, but we're also going to be talking about marriage and how mental health plays a role in our marriages. And so I'm very excited because our hot topic tonight is disclosure in marriage. And we're going to be bringing you guys some raw material. We're going to be talking about some real things. So make sure you share. Then that way people, if they have questions for my special guest, they can ask her. Okay. So share this out on your Facebook. If you're catching this on replay, if you're catching this on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, The Real Wife Movement, make sure you share this. This is a worthy investment. It doesn't cost you anything but a share. That's all it costs you. Share it in your groups. If you're in single groups, married groups, whatever type of groups, women's empowerment groups, you need to share this tonight. People would get freed up. People would get some healing. Some wounds may be open, but then we could start to, put that salve on it and get them healed. And so I'm really, really excited about my special guest on Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett, none other than Takia Mason. Thank you, Takia, for joining me.
Hey, man, you can just call me TC.
Okay, we're going to call her TC. There go my honey. Hey, babe. Thank you for joining.
Hey.
So, TC, can you tell people a little bit about you?
Yes. Well, I am the CEO of I'm a Beautiful Weirdo, really beautiful weirdo. And what it is a transformational, inspirational movement to encourage people to grow, love, to heal through movement, through fitness, through inspiration, books, crafts, everything. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm a fitness instructor. I counsel individuals, children, families, couples, post-adoption researcher, a lot of stuff. So I just have my hands in the pot, but I have an affinity for families, for children, to help them communicate, and I'm pretty passionate about that as well. So, got a lot of stuff going on.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about how Beautiful I Am a Beautiful Weirdo got started and what was the premise behind it?
Well, what I mean by a beautiful weirdo is a person who accepts and enjoys their peculiarities, pretty much just embracing who you are. So me being the person I am, I've never really felt like I fit in. So instead of trying to fit in, I try to encourage people to embrace who you are. Don't try to fit in. You were made to be who you are, and you have a certain light and energy that you bring to this world. So that's what you're supposed to do. So it's my way to just tell people to embrace themselves and encourage people to be them. Your quirks, all of it. I love it. We need it.
Awesome. And what market area do you is your practice in?
It's in Southern Maryland. So Waldorf, Maryland, where the cows are.
Waldorf in the house. Yeah. So DC, Maryland, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Get with her. I have her information at the end of this broadcast. But you definitely want to stay to the end.
Yes.
Make sure you type in your questions. If you have any burning questions that you want to ask, that you don't want to discuss with your girlfriends or your cousin. There may be some things that you want to know. Okay, can I disclose it with my boyfriend or my fiance or my husband or my wife? So this would be the platform to do that.
Yes.
So Takia, we talked prior to this broadcast, and the title or the topic is disclosure in marriage.
Yes.
With it being May Mental Health Month, and you and I know that here recently there was a beautiful family that was destroyed by the dad. So obviously he has some mental health issues. So question for you. How much disclosure do you feel as a licensed clinical therapist should be done in a marriage or prior to marriage?
My personal opinion is that you should disclose almost all.
Okay, you said almost.
I said almost.
What is that almost? Is that 20%, 5%?
Well, I think the almost all comes into play when you and your husband in your marriage, you decide what the rules for your relationship are going to be. So whereas I may feel disclosing everything, your partner may not want to know everything. And so that's why I say almost all, because I like to give room for people to make their own rules for their relationships, because what works for me, I can blow your head off with everything, every little detail. And the other person will be like, well, I don't really need all that.
Okay.
I don't need all that. You know, an example is you have your married friend. So in my relationship with my husband, if I've had any type of interaction with any type of dude, he wants to know. So he doesn't ever want to be caught off guard where somebody walks in a room and
that sounds like my husband.
There's some type of man signal, like, you know, like he
look at my husband. Look at my husband. He's saying the same thing. I need to know it all.
Right. But another relationship, the guy may not want to know that. He may feel uncomfortable. He may not want to. And that's, you know, within the boundaries of their relationship. So that's why I say the almost all, you got to set the boundaries for your relationship.
Awesome. So, okay, so you're saying it's contingent on every relationship, what that person wants to know. So I can say for me and my husband, I was like, I don't need to know anything because I don't care. But for my husband, he's the very same example you gave. That's what he gave me one time. He was like, I need to know. So we rolling up somewhere. Some dude ain't looking at me like, yo,
like, you know I had your girl, right? Right.
Right. So, but how do you know where to draw the line at? I mean, I guess that's the question, because someone says, okay, I want to know it all, but how do you determine what all looks like for you?
I think having those necessary conversations even prior to marriage, like really understanding how your mate functions, if you decide to even go further with a further relationship, because I think the process before getting married, that's where you should really find out majority of all that information. That's when you should be it's a trial period. Like, I'm trying to determine if this is somebody I really want to be with or deal with for the rest of my life. So I think it's during that time that you decide. And then as you go on in marriage, you'll begin to figure it out and continue to have conversations. And good evening.
Hey, Vanita. Thank you for joining us.
Hey. Continue to have conversations, constantly reevaluating. Okay, is this still the same? Because what worked 6 months ago may not work now. And I think people get stuck. And this is how we started the relationship, so this is how we're going to finish it. Not knowing that people grow, people get stagnant, all that. So you got to take that into consideration, I think.
Wow. Okay, so with May being Mental Health Month, and you know the importance of the importance now, especially in the African American community, for us to be talking about mental health, getting counseling, therapy, whatever tools that you need to have a better grasp on your mental, on your psyche, and how you respond to the world, how you see the world. So in marriage, if someone say received, I don't know, counseling as a teenager, or I don't know, disruptive behavior, or things of that nature, or depression or whatever, do you feel like that's something that should be shared prior to getting married?
Yes, and yes. I think the more information you know, the better, and then that person can decide how they want to continue. I think that I don't feel that you should.
Hey, Monet, thank you for joining us.
Monet, hello.
What's up, Mo?
Exactly. I think that you shouldn't withhold information, because when you withhold information, you rob that person of their ability to choose to move forward or not. And I think that's the reason why people withhold information, because they're scared. They don't want to lose the person. They may feel like this is my only opportunity to get married, or I don't know if this opportunity is going to come again, or if I'm going to get asked. So they don't want to scare them off. But if you don't deal with the situations before, they going to come back up. I'm going to tell you that. They going to come back up. And it may be, could be some deal breakers.
Wow. So, okay, now you just said something very pivotal and key. You talked about people don't want to disclose because they're afraid, okay, what if I never get asked again, or I want this, I don't want to scare this person off. But one of the things that I do with my clients that I discuss, or even, when I do sessions or whatever at conferences, I talk about put it all out there, because if that person doesn't want you with your truth, then that's not the person for you.
Right.
So why do you feel like as women, we're very afraid to share stuff or share our secrets or what have you?
Because they want a man. It's that simple. They want to keep the man by any means necessary. And with the given plight of the male drought or side chicks and everything else, you know, people want to get married. I know, you know, people may not believe that, but they do. And they don't want to run them off. They may feel like they have a good thing going. It's really fear. It really is. But I feel like before I got married, I lived my life by this specific principle. And I would ask, or if I'm dating, I would notch in my mind, okay, if this person never changed, could I deal with this for the rest of my life? And if my answer was no, I couldn't deal with it, then I don't know if I want to move forward in a lifetime relationship. Because I didn't want to go in with the basis of, okay, well, he may change. Because, you know, women are the queen of Mr. Potential.
Right.
He's going to change, or I can change him, or all of that stuff. So I wanted to go in logically, like, okay, even if this didn't change, I could still deal with it.
Right.
And if you can't, then you can make some, you know, choices. Being afraid of losing a partner, so she withholds information. Yep. And the guys do the same thing. It's not just women. Guys won't tell everything because they feel like they will be looked at differently, or this may be a good girl and they don't want to lose her. They don't want to risk it.
So you think men do the same thing? You think men?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and I only ask that because Mr. Barnett and I'm going to use us. He feels like men share stuff, but women are the ones who keep secrets. See, now he's saying, look at him. And he's always saying men share, women keep secrets. So you're saying you feel like men do the same.
I think with men, though, they'll give information on a need to know. They're not just going to volunteer stuff now. Now, if you happen to ask the right question, maybe, yes. But just free for all, no. That's not how men do.
Right. If you're just now joining us on Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett show, I have my special guest, TC Mason. She is a licensed therapist. She is just everything, y'all. I'm telling you. She keeps it real. She keeps it all the way live. And I really, really feel like you need to share this. May is Mental Health Month. We're talking about disclosure in marriage and prior to marriage. So if you are a single woman and you're not even looking to date, this may be a great conversation for you to get in on. Make sure you type your questions or comments in the comment box. We would love to hear where you're coming from. And she's here to answer your questions.
I would love to.
And I would put this disclaimer out there, you know, this is just a conversation. She's not diagnosing anybody. So if you really feel like you need therapy, please reach out to your insurance company and get your EAP, which is 6 to 10 free sessions.
Or you can reach out to me.
Oh, reach out to her. I know that. Reach out to her, okay, to get your sessions. I mean, seriously. I mean, I know we're joking and everything, but mental health is a very serious thing. And I know for me personally, I've received several sessions of counseling at several different points in my married life. Prior to getting married, prior to going through a lot of things that Don and I went through, I just didn't feel there was. I'm just gonna be 100. I feel like counseling was for white people. I was like, white people go to counseling, black people don't go to counseling. We go to Big Mama. We go to Big Mama.
No, they go to Big Mama and they go to the church. Yep.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it 100. That's where people go, and that's, you know, like when I do seminars and when I do conferences, when I ask them the question, what are the thoughts that come to your mind? Mental health. They say white people. They say I may on occasion get Bobby Brown or Whitney Houston, but You know, when they think about mental health, they think about crazy, sitting on a couch, when it's not really all about that. Mental health is just how you see the world and the different things that are influencing your world. And I think everybody could benefit from going to see a therapist. I've seen a therapist prior to being married, during marriage, or what have you, because mental health left untreated, that's what you don't want. When it's left untreated, it could spiral into so many different things, so many different diagnoses. So that's the part. You want to make sure that you are really getting the things out that you need to get out. There's trauma that happens in childhood, and if it's not resolved, you act it out in adulthood. And when it's not resolved, you pass it on to your children. So it's a whole thing. You don't realize that your children could be triggering things that you experienced in your childhood. So you're not responding to your child as though they're a child. You're responding to what traumatized you back then. So yeah, it was worth it. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. I'm a testify.
Right.
That it was worth it. And I mean, and since my husband put that out there, it was a struggle to get him to go to counseling initially. You know, he kept saying nothing's wrong with me. I'm good. You know, all these things he was saying. And I'm like, yo, you have some anger issues. There's some things between, you know, from your childhood that you need to deal with. But he felt like he was good. And I can't remember how we finally go. I think we went together to marriage counseling several times, and we would come out arguing. We started with church marriage counseling. Okay, let's put a disclaimer out there, and that did not work for us. I mean, it just did not work. And so finally, after trying that several times with different churches, I said, you know what? How about you go get your own counseling? I get my counseling, and then let's come together.
Right.
And that was the best thing we could have done for ourselves, as opposed to, because we were going to marriage counseling, but we weren't dealing with our own individual issues.
Right. He said, this is your show. Tell your business.
But it's true. It is so true. It's so true. And, you know, and I think a lot of times people see people like you, me, you know, all these other people, not realizing that they have counseling, they have mentors, they have other people to help encourage them, help them work through some of their issues. Fear was a big issue for me. And so talk a little bit about Black men and counseling, and why our Black men feel like they don't need counseling.
Well, I think it has to do with, from the people that I see, a lot of my clients are Caucasian. Yeah, a lot of my clients are Caucasian. A lot of them are men. I have women as well and kids too, but from the people that I see, men tend to, they can handle it. So just the part about talking about emotions for men, I think that's something that they aren't really conditioned or socialized to feel that it's okay to talk about emotions. So even when I'm in therapy with clients, and I have to, when I'm talking to a man, I have to shift my mind, because there are certain words that emotions, I'm a man. What are you talking about? Emotions? No. Feelings? No. Right. So there's certain ways that to get them to open up where they have to protect or feel that they must protect their masculinity. You know, so talking about emotions and venting, that's socialized as being something that girls do. Ladies do that. Men talk, but they talk about it in a roundabout way. Like, it's just different. It's a different, it's just different. It's a different man code.
Wow. Okay, so you just brought up a buzzword, man code. So we're going to go a little deeper here. So ladies, share this out. Honey, share this out. Since you're the only man on. So we're going to talk about man code. The conversation you and I had last week was men being on the DL. So
talk about it.
Right. Prior to marriage, how much do you share with your intended?
Not just men, women too. It's just that it's looked at differently. Women is more more acceptable, or is viewed more acceptable because it's a part of a lot of men's fantasies. Oh, like or that's something that is accepted in college. That's college behavior. Okay, women kissing women at the bar or whatever. That's that's normal. But men, having other experiences with men, I think that if anybody ever watched the show Insecure, they hit that nail on the head. But those are questions that aren't asked. They're not asked. When you're in a relationship and you're assuming that it's a heterosexual relationship, you don't ask, hey, have you had any experiences with the same sex in high school, in college, or what have you? I mean, I've had clients where this issue has come up, but they never discussed it before. So now you're dealing with a situation where you didn't know your mate had feelings for the opposite sex and that they're battling with that. And maybe that's contributing to why they don't want to have sex with you, because they really want to have sex with somebody who has the same parts as they do or whatever. But if you don't ask these questions, then you're not going to know. Like, I even talked to my husband and I was like, hey, wait, I didn't ask you this. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, I never asked you. I mean, it's not going to make a difference now, but inquire minds want to know. He was like, well, did you? I was like, no, I have not kissed a girl. I didn't like it. So, yeah. Those are conversations that I think that we need to have, especially in this day and time where sexual prowess is just real. So, you want to have those conversations so that you can know whether this may potentially be an issue later on in your marriage.
So with the long checklist that I've seen some Black women have, they need to add that to the checklist.
Have you ever had, but be smooth with it. You know what I mean? Don't be like, have you had sex with a guy before? Have you had any experiences? Or in college, I was, I don't know, put it out there some way, but try to get it out there because, that's something I think that you should know. You should know that because that could potentially have some really devastating effects if they're continuing in those, behaviors or what have you.
Right. Wow. You have given us a lot to think about. Wow. So if someone comes to you, you're dating, and that person says, okay, I saw TC and she said, I need to share some things with you. And so here's it all. Here it all is. And that person rejects them. What would you suggest to them as how they should handle that?
First, I would say, this, while you're watching this, please do not, after this session ends, go in with a whole list of things saying everything that you want. Don't do that. Just chill.
Right.
Take some stuff in. There's some stuff that you can just gradually, let out, and it'll just come out just in regular conversation, and you can tack it out that way. For those who may feel rejected because of the stuff that you share, unfortunately, it's their right. It's their right to decide whether they can continue or not. What you don't want is for you to share something with somebody and they say that they can continue, but in their heart, they can't. So you're being strung along. The damage is going to be way more because you're thinking like, I went all in. I shared everything, so we should be good. But if their heart isn't in it, you want to know if their heart is in it and if it's not, so you both can make the necessary decisions, whether you want to move forward or discontinue. I think it's everybody's right to make decisions for their life and to get as much information that they can to make the best decision for them. So yes, you may be rejected, but it is that person's right to really accept whether they can move forward or not.
Right. Okay, so you're saying go full disclosure, share everything. So should I
share everything?
Okay, well share. Okay, know your partner.
Right.
Know whether it's some things that you should share with them at that moment, or in that time or that space that you're in the season you're in your relationship. So if I decide to go to my husband, or he decides to come to me and says, hey, babe, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, or vice versa, do you think with 18 years in, we'll be married 18 years next month, do you think 18 years in, 20 years in is the time to be asking questions, or by that time it's just like, it doesn't even matter, or what's your thought on that?
I would say, well, what is your purpose?
Okay.
Asking the question. Like, is this going to enhance? Like, what is the main reason? I think that if you want to know, you want to know. That's what I think. And I think even in 18 years, I think that you should still be learning and turning over new things for your husband and for your mate or your wife. You should still be willing to be open to learn something new, or to be flexible or change things up. But, if you want to know, why not?
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like, I think the best way to be open and honest is for you to be open and honest with yourself. I feel like it starts with yourself first. So before I even got married, I knew that there were issues that I needed to deal with as a single person.
Mm-hmm.
So I got individual therapy to deal with those issues, so that if I met my mate, I would be ready and not trying to deal with issues within myself and be in a relationship. Because when you're in a relationship, that's a lot of times where a lot of that stuff will come out.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not just in a relationship with yourself. You're actually, in a relationship with somebody else. So they're either sometimes mirroring back, or they're triggering. So it comes out. So I wanted to make sure that stuff was dealt with. And when you go through therapy, you come out, or you should come out with some clarity and some self-awareness, so that you're able to actually communicate even the stuff you still got to work on.
Right.
Like I was able to say with my husband before we even got married, look, my mother, I love her. I love you, Mom. I hope you never watch this. Right. I love her, but we have some issues to work on. But I will be able to share that with him, and even in terms of different things about, and these are conversations to have, even about alcohol, alcoholism. What's your view on that? People don't have conversations about that. So if I married somebody who's from an alcoholic family and I don't do alcohol, I mean, you got to have these conversations, because
that's heavy.
Can trigger stuff.
Right. Kind of like my family. When my husband came to Louisiana, I think we were married in June. We went in August or July, and he got his first opportunity to see them giving beer to babies. He was like, whoa, that's a little different.
Right. Whoa, yes.
Right. And so it's so funny, because even my kids now, they know that when we go to Louisiana, you probably will see your little cousins consuming, a Heineken or something,
They get lit at 3. Dang. Turn up.
Right. But that is so true, because if you came from a conservative household and now you're going to your spouse's family reunion and everybody doing, the wobble with their glass in their hand.
Right.
You may be like, yo, what's going on here? Wow, I never thought about that. That is good. And
it leads to communication problems. Because if I come from a boisterous family and your family is very conservative, then when I come around, they're gonna be like, she's crazy. So, and these are conversations that you have. Not only are these conversations that you have, but these are things that you take the time to observe for months and months to see, like, be around the family.
Right.
Like, how does he act? How do they act?
Right.
Like, so these are things to consider and conversations to consider.
Wow, that's so good. I mean, my husband's granny, she said that you should spend all 4 seasons with that person. See how winter triggers them, see how fall triggers them. She said all 4 seasons. Donna and I didn't make it. We only got through 2. We were married in 6 months, but I mean, but it works for us. I mean, we had a lot of issues. We had to work through some things. We had to get a lot of therapy, but we came out on top. We chose to stay and work through our issues. But I like that advice. I mean, I think at least 1 year of seeing that person going to the family reunions,
right,
how they handle, see them interacting with their family members.
If they have deaths in their family, how do they respond to that? If they have high stress situations, if they get fired from their jobs, how do they respond to that? Like, these
that's good.
Take into consideration. I mean, really take into consideration. Yeah.
That is so good. Wow. So let me ask you this. How soon is too soon when you're dating? Because we want too soon to disclose some of your past, or if you're receiving therapy, or I mean, I learned in my adult life that some people were actually taking medication, and I was like, really? I thought kids only took medication, but someone I knew was taking ADHD medicine, and they had to share that with their spouse. So my question is, how soon is too soon? If you're dating someone and here you are, in your 30s, because my audience is pretty much women in their 30s and 40s, and you're dating, how soon is too soon? Do you say that on the first day, hold on, I gotta get some water so I can take my ADHD medicine, or do you?
Because I be like, you crazy. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even know me. No, you don't know me. I'm like, I would say, I think one of the things that get into the way, people rush towards intimacy. They do not take the time to actually go like this and watch. They don't take the time to do that. They don't take the time to collect information, to collect evidence, to support rather, hey, is this a person that I should give information to? Like, were there any red flags? They don't take that time. And because there's a rush towards intimacy, then, and I'm talking about a rush towards intimacy, literally and figuratively. You start sticking stuff in places and you forget about the questions that need to be asked. Seriously. It kind of overrides. I think, like, if you could put that to the back burner for as long as you can, I would say if you could do a year, that would be great. If you could wait till marriage, that would be perfect. But speaking of both, both ends of a totem pole, if you could do that, because once you start getting bodily fluids involved, a lot of rational thinking, you see red flags, but stuff feels so good. Right. You're just going on how you feel. You're not going off of logic. So, like I said, I think people are rushing into intimacy. Take the time to really get to know a person. Like, go through the 4 seasons with them. And then actually, before you even get into a relationship, have something written down as to what are the things that you would like to see that would give you the indicator to divulge more. That's good. So that you're not just going in like, oh, you're not just going off the feel goods, because it's easy. Oh, he took me out. It's easy. Oh, the dinner was nice. You're going off of the feel goods, but what is it? What is the evidence presenting? Is this somebody you can trust? When they say they're going to be somewhere, are they there? When they say they're going to call, are they calling? Like stuff like that, to determine some guidelines as to when you're going to divulge information. Like, I don't think that you should just give off all personal information about you within the first month or so. This person doesn't qualify. What are your qualifiers? They don't qualify. And when you give off all that information too soon, it's false intimacy, and it makes you think that you're closer to the person than you actually are, and you're not. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to ask a controversial question. Say it. Because I love this conversation. What do you say to those people who say, I only want to get my counseling at my church from my pastor? I don't need to go to.
question out.
Go ahead, controversial. Go ahead.
Okay. I only want to get counseling at my church because I want a spiritual leader because they're connected, as opposed to going to a therapist because they may be giving me worldly advice.
Mm-hmm. There are some, I would say there are some clinicians who are spiritual clinicians. Mm-hmm. And that's their expertise. So you can go there. I don't have a problem with getting counseling from the church. Woo. What I do have an issue with is that some of them, a lot of them are not licensed clinicians. Mm. So in terms of the mental health piece, some of the pieces may not be addressed as forthright. Yes, you can address it with the word, but there are also some people may actually need some medicine.
Okay.
So there are some things that I think that you can go for certain pieces, but then you may have to be referred out, and that's okay. So,
okay. I'm just asking because I've heard people say that they only want, counseling from the church because they get the word. But I like what you said because I think as a lot of churches, people are not licensed. They don't work their 9 to 5, pick their kids up.
They have the spiritual. They may have the spiritual skill, but they don't have the other piece. And sometimes that other piece, the mental health piece, is. I'm not gonna say sometimes it is needed. Right. To know whether a person can continue with you or they need to be referred out to somebody who has more experience and can give more interventions other than the word.
Awesome. And I love that because, especially in the Black community, we think if we go to the pastor, we're going to be good. He's going to put some oil on us, lay hands, and and we good, and you feel good after that moment. But then when you get back home and you can't get the pastor on the phone, because his secretary is going to voicemail because church is closed. Well, you really need to be able to have that after hours number where you can contact your therapist or whoever's on call and get the support that you need. So I think it's really important. Those of you who are on here and you subscribe to that notion, if going to your pastor just is not getting you where you would like to see yourself, I would strongly suggest and consider that you
at an objective party, right?
Oh, okay. That's good, Monet. That's very good. That's very
really good. And a lot of people feel in bondage going to church in terms of sharing that with their pet. I'm just saying they feel in bondage. There's so many rules. There's so many things where you probably shouldn't be doing that or what have you. I think there's a certain freedom and a certain liberty with going to a therapist that's outside of the church because normally, there are boundaries within church. Mm-hmm. You don't want, I'm not saying people gossip, but they do. They do. They gossip. You don't want your place of serenity or relief to be muddled with, something else. So if you could create a boundary there where, it's just separate. So.
Wow. Or you don't want to be the sermon on Sunday. You don't want to be the subject of the sermon on Sunday.
Right. Or somebody say, I know a guy. And you're like, wait, I think he's telling my story. What's happening? And that happens a lot. I mean, they may not say your name. They're keeping it confidential, but when somebody that's your story or not. So, right. It is what it is. And I do feel like sometimes ministers aren't objective because I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that if the premise is the word of God. So when you're getting counseling, that's what they're using. That's their premise. And I think some people don't feel as free. Like if a person cursed and that's what they do, they wouldn't feel free to curse in front of this elder or whoever. And they're gonna be like, what? But this is a high volatile emotional situation and coming here to relieve all of these things, and you can't relieve it all the way because you concerned about how you gonna look, what they gonna think. I'm supposed to be doing this. No, I tell my clients, hey, I start from wherever you are.
Right.
If that's the language you use, I'm cool with it.
Right.
I'm not your mother. I'm not your father or none of that. I'm here to help you achieve your goal. If you feel like that's what you need right now to get it out, okay, whatever. Let's keep it moving.
Right. And it's so funny, just as you started saying that, my husband posted that, that they look at you weird if you cuss. And like you said, if that's where somebody is at that moment, you got to meet them where they are. Right. And then you can take them to the next level. But, I think sometimes when people go to church, like you said, you get into an environment where people have this expectation of your behaviors or how you think or what you should do. And like you said, if they say, well, you shouldn't be doing that or you shouldn't be doing this. It's like, but I am doing it. You know what I'm saying? I want help to get out of it. You making me feel worse.
Yeah. There's a societal script for just different places and all of that. So.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So any words for anybody that's watching right now, whether, they're catching us on YouTube or here on Facebook Live, any words on how to start their therapy journey? If they're just like sweating bullets right now, like, I just don't know if I can do it, what would you say to them? Or what is the next step you would say to them? If they're saying, you know what, she's talking to me, I need this, but I just don't know if I can do it.
I would say one of the first steps that I try to tell people, or even as an intervention that I give for my clients now, if you feel uncomfortable going to a therapist right now, and the point is when you go to therapy, you should feel ready. You shouldn't feel forced because therapy can only be as great as you allow it to be. So if you come and you're saying, hey, the skies are gray, the birds are floating, like you're not ready to talk about the things that are bothering you, it can't really go as far because you aren't malleable. You're not ready. You're not ready yet. So if you're at that point and you're not ready, get you a 69-cent composition book and journal. And journal until you get to that place.
That's good. That's good.
Like you can be open and honest. And normally, sometimes when you journal, it will feel like you've experienced the situation. And so when you actually go and talk about it with somebody, it's like, oh, okay, I'm okay. It feels a bit more comfortable. So that's what I would suggest for people who feel like they are ready to move forward with therapy. Know that there are certain things that you should know about choosing your therapist. Number one, you have to like them. If you do not like them, you probably will not feel comfortable divulging information. Who talks to people a whole bunch who they don't like? You normally avoid them. So you don't want to even go into that relationship saying, I don't like them, because you're not going to come. So that's a waste of time. So you want to be sure that you like them. You want to be sure that they're a good fit for you.
Right.
Just not a therapist who's just going to be like, allow you to talk. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, that's good too. But there are times where you need to be confronted, where you need to be challenged about some of your thoughts, about some of your actions. Are they willing to do that?
Wow.
So those are some of the things that I would suggest if you're ready.
Wow. And I actually had someone tell me before, I don't want to go to therapy because I don't want to relive my trauma. So what would you say to that?
That they don't want to relive their trauma. Is their trauma affecting them today?
Yes.
So they're already reliving it. They're already reliving it. It's just, what I will say, and this is what I say during my first sessions, therapy can be rough. It's like you have a cut on your arm and you're asking somebody to take a surgical thing and go in there. And you ain't got no anesthesia.
Right.
And then not only are they asking you to do that, after they do that, and you've had a session where sometimes your eyeballs are crying and you dry it out, they asking you to come back.
Right.
Finish. And in your mind, like reality, like, why am I going to come back when it seems like I'm inflicting pain? But sometimes you have to go and dig and get at the root. So that's not recurring. So I tell my clients that from the beginning, sometimes you ain't going to like me, and that's okay. Sometimes you feel like you're not going to want to come back, but it's during those times that you're about to head towards change. Come back.
Right.
And I try to give people the information up front. I've been through therapy. I know how it feels when you're talking to a complete stranger about issues of your heart and they saying stuff and you're like, I don't even like you right now. I don't want to deal with this right now. And then they're like, okay, so what time we going to meet next week? What? I want to meet with you. I want to avoid this. But by avoiding it, it's going to come up in other areas. So rather deal with it now, or you continue to press it down. And at the end of the day, you keep putting doo-doo on top of doo-doo, you're going to stink. And not only are you going to stink, other people going to know you're going to stink. So deal with your doo-doo. Okay?
Wow. Deal with your doo-doo. That's tweetable. TC Mason.
Exactly.
Wow, that was.
You deal with it, or somebody going to deal with it, and you might not like the way they deal with it. Like it's such a circle. It's just a circle. And
it's kind of like that saying, "Hurt people hurt people." So if you're dealing with some hurts and traumas, it comes out and it affects your spouse, your children, your coworkers. You know, everyone is affected. It's not just you.
And you're clogging your life. At the end of the day, you're clogging your life. You're clogging it with negative energy. You're clogging it with hurt. You're clogging it. So when you need to move forward, I always tell people, when you're carrying like dead weight and you're not dealing with stuff, it's the same thing as if you're holding a 5 pound. It could be as light as a 5 pound or a 2 pound weight in a race, and you're just holding your arms up. But the longer you hold that weight don't feel like 2 pounds when you're holding it for years.
Right.
The longer you hold a weight, no matter how light it is, it feels heavier. So you're in that position holding it. It's hard. It's hard to move forward with weight when you're carrying weight.
Right.
Like literally and figuratively.
Right.
It's hard. Really is.
You are so right. Wow, you have really helped us out. Taj is saying, because we have never been taught how to properly deal with things. That is true too, especially as Black women. You know, we're told, girl, you better get up. Ain't nobody got time to be patting you on the back. I know I heard that so many times. Right. And so that's why we have therapists such as TC. Y'all see how she is. She's really raw. She's real. She has a heart of gold. She wants to see you whole. She wants to see you heal. I would say reach out to her. So how can we reach out? How can people reach out to you if they're like, you know what? She's speaking to me. I need to get my sessions.
If you need to get a session, you can reach me on my website. It's www.IamABeautifulWeirdo spelled WEIRDO.com. I'm also on Facebook, or you can reach me via email, tcmason@IamABeautifulWeirdo.com. And so I do, like I said, I counsel individuals. I do play therapy with children, families, the whole gamut. I also do divorce mediation, which I want to let you all know, if you are heading in that direction, you save money. Hear me out. You save money going to a divorce mediator rather than you two lawyering up. So you can save, I mean, like one person I know paid like $40,000 for their divorce. That's just one side. That's not including the other person, the other side, where you guys could come together, and what you do is you mediate together on all the specific issues so that your divorce isn't contested. You file it, and that's your divorce decree. That's it.
Wow.
So, but a lot of people, you know, in their mind, they get with the lawyer up thing, and you really wasted a whole bunch of money.
Wow.
So, you know, I do that too, but
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I take it you take pretty much the major insurance companies. You take insurance.
I don't take insurance.
Oh, she does not take insurance. Okay.
I don't take. I am a private therapist, so I do sessions fee only. So you can hit me up. Of course, I do not try to beat you over the head. I'm just trying to live with my 6 children.
Do she look like she got 6 children, y'all?
Yes. So when I tell you I went to therapy, you know I went. I probably need to go back. I ain't lying. And it's nothing wrong with that. Once you go to therapy, it's not like you have to go every week. After a while, you should show some improvement where maybe you may go once every year or something, just for a tune-up, just to have somebody that's unbiased, that's not on anybody's team, and you just have an opportunity to get everything out so that stuff isn't piling up.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so good. So get your tune up. I think this is really important if you have some teenagers that, you know, need a little bit of tough love, a little bit of Miss TC. I would definitely say reach out to her. I think she would be a great person to have on your side as a parent, because she will keep it real with your teenagers, especially now today's world. You know, the world makes our teenagers feel like the parents are enemies. I know growing up in the 70s and 80s, I thought my parents were my enemy, but today, everything tells them that their parents are. If you take your cell phone because they're on punishment, if you say they can't go to the mall, I mean, you're just the enemy. And so I would definitely say she's a great person to have to work with your teenagers.
Yes.
So that she could be the enemy, you know.
I don't mind being the enemy. I don't mind. And it's funny that you say that, because I was listening to something, I think, on NPR, and they were saying how some adults are stuck in adolescence. They're stuck in adolescence because when they were actually in adolescence, their parents did not require them to develop a work ethic.
Wow.
It wasn't required. And it wasn't required because the parents, they didn't have certain things. So they just gave everything that they didn't have instead of ensuring that their children develop a work ethic. So they didn't get stuck in adolescence as adults. I was like, well, you didn't say it.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Indeed. Look, how many people you know stuck in adolescence? Don't say their name. Don't say their name.
But it's so true. I mean, I'm serious. You are really wow, you're really helping some people out. So thank you again. I am honored to have you as my guest. You were a joy to interview on Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett. I can't wait to get you on my radio show on 106.1 FM in Baltimore starting July 9th. I hope to have her back so that you can actually call in and ask her questions. So that would be great for people to call in and ask questions. But I thank you again. Definitely this is not the last time you will be on my show. I think we probably need to do this, if not quarterly, where people can get that little tune in and tune up and check in. Definitely, I feel like this is something we should do quarterly, because we're just not talking about mental health in the Black community. We're just not. Right. So thank you again, Miss TC. Oh, thank you, Taj. Appreciate you. Thank you, Taj. So I will definitely have her back. We'll probably come up with a schedule and with the topics. Or if there's some topics that you would like for me to chat with on Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett, you can send me an email at chat, the letter W, Tanya, chat with Tanya, but it's no with, it's just chat, wtanya@gmail.com with your question. Or if you have some information you want to forward to TC, I will make sure that she gets it. So thank you again, sis, for being on here with me tonight. And we will chit chat later.
Yes, it's been a joy. Thanks, everyone.
Talk to you later.
Morning.
Hey, Mo. Mo, you need to get on her to come to the Art of Being a Wife tour.
She already did.
Okay. Yay. So we're going to have her in the house. Get your ticket, girl.
I know, right?
All right. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you, honey. I appreciate you, hon. All right, y'all. So good night, and I will chat with y'all later. Bye-bye.